Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to really cut through the noise and get straight to the practical wisdom. Today, we're diving into how we can shift from, constantly feeling like we're just chasing money
Yeah.
to actually designing a life where money starts working for us, building something with real purpose and impact. And our guide for this is a really fantastic book, Practical Wealth Building Tips by Reuben Juma Onunga. What's great is he's not some ivory tower financial guru. He's an engineer, a husband, father, a mentor. He wrote this as a fellow traveler, someone who's actually lived these ideas. His wife, Millicent, even says in the foreword, it's about not just more money, but more wisdom.
Hmm.
So our mission today, let's pull out the core insights, the actionable stuff from his work to help you move from just surviving to really thriving.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Right from the start, Onunga sort of challenges how we normally think about wealth. Most people might think, big bank account, fancy assets. But he defines it much more broadly. He calls it security, freedom, and impact. So wealth isn't the end goal. It's a tool, a powerful one.
A tool. I like that. And you mentioned he really emphasizes generational thinking.
Exactly. That's a huge part of his perspective. He brings up Proverbs 13.22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
Mm.
So it's not just about piling it up for yourself. It's about building something lasting, thinking about the future, the impact on those who come after you.
And that connects right back to his introduction where he's pretty direct. He says, financial success is not about luck or talent alone. It is about choices. Smart, consistent, often sacrificial choices. That puts the power right back in your hands, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It makes it about agency, not chance. It kind of echoes what Aristotle said ages ago, something like, wealth is evidently not the good we are seeking, for it is merely useful and for the sake of something else.
Right.
So the big question for you listening is, what's the something else? What does wealth actually enable for you? What's the real purpose behind wanting it?
That's such a foundational question to start with. Okay, but practically speaking, many people feel stuck with just one income. What's the danger there, according to Onunga?
Well, think about it like building your whole financial house on just one pillar.
Okay.
If that one pillar gets shaky job loss, illness, economic downturn, the whole thing's at risk. He really stresses that relying on a single income is like one of the biggest vulnerabilities. So he advocates for resilience, for diversification, building multiple streams, active, passive portfolio income. He even quotes Ecclesiastes. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. It's about building in that safety net.
That makes sense. And he has a story about this, right? A teacher.
Yeah, a really powerful one. A school teacher in CI County. Her salary was about cash $40,000, which is roughly, $300 US?
Okay.
Clearly not enough to feel secure or build much. So she didn't just accept it. She started tutoring during school holidays. That was stream number 2. Then she added a small poultry business, stream 3. And eventually, she used some savings to build a couple of rental units on family land out in the country. Stream 4. And the result. Within a few years, her total income nearly tripled.
Wow, tripper.
Yeah. Her teaching job was still important, but it wasn't her only lifeline anymore. She had engineered her own security.
That's incredibly motivating. It really shows you don't need like a massive investment to begin. It's about looking at your existing skills, maybe resources you haven't thought about, and asking, okay, what small step can I take to build that second pillar?
Exactly. Every talent, every skill can be a seed.
So building on that foundation, he then talks about 2 principles that seem almost contradictory at first. Giving some away and then paying yourself.
Right. They can feel counterintuitive. Let's take the giving part first. He talks about tithing. For him, it's framed as a spiritual covenant, an act of trust. He references Malachi 3.10, the verse that says, essentially, test God in this and see if blessings don't follow. Now, for listeners with different backgrounds, this principle might resonate as, conscious giving, investing in your community. The idea that putting resources towards something bigger than yourself can create a positive feedback loop, maybe foster an abundance mindset.
Okay.
He shares a story about a young engineer, just starting out, tithing from his tiny internship stipend. And over the years, he saw consistent growth, unexpected opportunities, attributing it partly to that initial discipline of giving first.
Interesting. And how does that connect to pay yourself first?
Well, it flows naturally. After acknowledging that principle of giving or broader contribution, the next non-negotiable is securing your own future. Pay yourself first. Flips the usual script. Most people spend, then save whatever's left, if anything. He and others, like Jim Rohn, say do the opposite. Invest or save first, then spend what remains. Ron's quote is perfect. The rich invest their money and spend what is left. The poor spend their money and invest what is left. It's a fundamental mindset difference.
It really is. And that example of the friend saving just 500 shillings, like maybe $4 from a 10,000 shilling salary,
Yeah, seems tiny, right?
almost insignificant. But he did it consistently, automated it, had goals. And years later, that small, consistent action built up enough capital for him to buy land, start a side business, while others, maybe earning more, were still living paycheck to paycheck. It's that Proverbs line again: the wise store up, but fools gulp theirs down.
Exactly. Consistency over intensity. So the question becomes, are you prioritizing your future self or just today's wants? It's a core choice.
Okay, that choice leads us to something pretty challenging in the book. He suggests saving 50% of your active income. That sounds huge.
It does sound extreme, yeah. And he acknowledges that, but he reframes it. It's not about feeling deprived. It's shifting your focus from how much can I spend to how much can I keep and put to work.
Okay.
He mentions things like the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, where people routinely save 50, 60, even 70% to buy back their time decades sooner.
Right, I've heard of that.
And he tells another story, a civil servant, lived simply, took all the earnings from his side hustle, a boda, a motorcycle taxi business, and saved all of it. Just systematically saved that second income. And now owns property, earns rental income. He engineered his escape route.
So it's about aggressively building capital for freedom.
Precisely. It's like that story of Joseph in Genesis advising Pharaoh to save 20% during the good years. Onunga's basically saying, in our world, maybe we need to be even more aggressive to build real resilience.
Okay, so discipline is key. But just saving isn't enough, right? The money needs to do something. What's the next step for those savings?
Absolutely crucial point. Saving is just step one. Step two is invest savings in cash-generating assets. This is where his engineering mindset really comes through, building systems that work for you. He makes a clear distinction. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out. Focus on acquiring assets.
Simple but powerful.
Very. He references the parable of the talents, where the servants who invested and multiplied their master's money were praised, while the one who buried it out of fear was criticized. The idea is we're meant to be productive stewards, not just hoarders.
So what kind of assets is he talking about?
Practical things. Real estate rentals, maybe starting with just one room or a small unit. Dividend-paying stocks from solid companies. Agribusiness could be small scale, like poultry or growing specific crops. Even digital assets like an ebook or an online course. Things that, once set up, can generate income without you constantly trading your time for it.
Passive income streams?
Exactly. It ties into that Warren Buffett idea. Never depend on a single income. Make investment to create a second source.
So the message is, start saving aggressively. Then put those savings into things that pay you back.
Yes. Start small if you need to, educate yourself, but get that money working.
Okay, so we're building wealth, we're investing. How do we make sure it lasts?
Yeah.
That we don't just, let our lifestyle inflate and eat it all up.
The classic trap. His answer is fundamental. Live below your means. And again, this isn't about enforced poverty or extreme frugality necessarily. It's about conscious, intentional choices.
Choosing your goals over, say, instant gratification.
Precisely. Aligning your spending with your values and long-term vision, not just keeping up with the Joneses or maybe nowadays the Instagrammers. He quotes Proverbs 13.7. One person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. It's about the reality, not the appearance. He tells this anecdote about a technician. Quiet guy, earned less than flashier colleagues, lived simply, used public transport, avoided debt like the plague. Meanwhile, his peers were living large, often on borrowed money. Years later, the technician owned land, started a business. His actual wealth was far greater.
That speaks volumes.
It does, and it connects to what Seneca said. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. It's about defining enough for yourself, finding freedom in that, rather than constantly chasing more because of external pressures.
That's so important, especially today. Okay, and then there's the magic ingredient that makes all this work even better over time: compounding.
Yes, the eighth wonder of the world, as Einstein supposedly called it. Here's where things get really exciting, mathematically speaking.
Okay, break it down for us.
Compounding is, well, it's your money making money, and then that money starts making more money. It's interest on interest. It's exponential growth, which our brains aren't always great at grasping intuitively. Onunga gives an example. Take 100,000 shillings, about $750. Invest it, get a 10% annual return. In 20 years, simple interest would give you maybe 300,000 total. But with compounding, where you reinvest the earnings each year, it grows to over 700,000 shillings, more than double, just from the earnings generating their own earnings. That's the snowball effect.
Wow, that's a huge difference over time.
Huge. And the key ingredients are time and consistency. Starting early makes a massive difference. He shares another story, a retired public servant. For years, he just reinvested the dividends from his cooperative society membership. Small amounts, consistently plowed back in. That discipline, amplified by compounding, gave him real peace of mind in retirement.
So it rewards patience.
Absolutely. Rewards patience, discipline, and reinvestment. Not quick flips or speculation. It's a long-term game where consistency wins.
Fantastic. So we've built the foundation, saved, invested, lived wisely, let compounding work. What's the final piece of the puzzle, according to Onunga?
The final piece, the ultimate expression of wealth in his view, is philanthropy, the final wealth frontier.
So giving back again, but maybe on a larger scale.
Exactly. It brings the journey full circle. He argues that true wealth isn't measured by how much you have, but by how much you can give away without fear, without impacting your own security. He quotes Acts. It is more blessed to give than to receive. And importantly, he notes it starts with intention, not necessarily huge amounts. He mentions the widow's 2 coins, a small gift, but given from the heart, it had immense value.
So it's the spirit behind it.
Yes. And he provides another inspiring example. A retired engineer who set up a scholarship fund in his home village for needy students. This wasn't just charity, it was strategic empowerment, creating a cycle of opportunity, helping dozens of kids get an education they couldn't otherwise afford.
That's creating a real legacy.
A powerful legacy. It reminds me of Andrew Carnegie's idea that the man who dies rich dies disgraced. The purpose of accumulating wealth finds its highest meaning in how it benefits others.
So the question then becomes for all of us, how can our financial journey, our success, translate into that kind of significance?
That's the ultimate reflection point.
Okay, so wrapping this up, Onunga's message seems to be that wealth, real wealth, is this tool. It's for purpose, security, impact. And it's not luck. It's built intentionally. It's this blend of spiritual principles like trust and giving combined with really practical disciplines.
That's a great summary. Saving, investing, living below your means, understanding compounding, but all guided by a purpose beyond just accumulation. And he emphasizes it's a journey, right? A process of good stewardship. Like Proverbs says, the blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it, suggesting it's about alignment, smart work, integrity, not just grinding yourself into dust. It's about building wisely.
Building wisely. I like that. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to consider. Wealth is not about how much you have. It's about what you do with what you have. How might you start seeing your own financial path, not just as personal gain, but as this chance to cultivate possibilities, to bless others, to leave a meaningful legacy? Maybe just think about one small, intentional step you could take this week based on any of these principles we've discussed.